auntie and uncle here? You having a good time? Yeah? Cool. No, not in Bangladesh, right? Okay, cool. I got you. Politics. No, I'm glad you're having a good time. I honestly didn't know that was allowed. Oh, man. Actually, before I moved to LA, I was in a long-term relationship that ended. Thank you. She goes, it's okay. You can find me after the show. No, I was in a long-term relationship that ended. And the last thing she said to me was, "You are a waste of space." I was like, damn, 6 years. And you're gonna end on a Katy Perry lyric? Didn't even have the decency to make it Taylor Swift. You couldn't tell by those jokes I was dating a white girl. Yeah, I learned that there's 2 things that a white woman always has on her at all times. That's sunscreen and a suggestion. White lady here, agree, disagree? Agreed? We love a self-aware queen. Oh man. So I don't do cocaine, but I do smoke weed, so I need my notes. Yeah, so I'm originally from India, and I was dating a white girl, so amongst my cousins, I'm basically Meghan Markle. Yeah, I was born in India, and I moved to Orange County, California, when I was just 2 years old. For those of you who don't know Orange County, that's Real Housewives territory. But yeah, I was born in India, I moved to Orange County, and with my family, we were lucky enough to all become citizens. Yeah. Oh, don't clap, it's fine. That shit's not easy. But, so I moved to Orange County, so I sound like a surfer, but I cannot be the president, and my penis is wearing a hoodie. One time I went on a date, girl took off my pants and her jaw dropped. And it's not a size thing, my dick is not huge, but she was just Jewish. I was like, that being said, I am not in the mood for a xenophobic blowjob. Also, your profile says you like Hamilton, I expected better. I don't think being uncircumcised is a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's kind of like if you went to Chipotle, and instead of white rice, they gave you brown. Just try the burrito. It's the same thing. Brown rice just has its natural casing. I don't know if you know this actually, but being uncircumcised makes you 6 times more likely to get pulled aside by the TSA. Every time I get pulled back there, I'm like, yo, I am wearing Lululemon pants and Nikes. Does this look like the game day getup for jihad? Like, you think Al-Qaeda has an athleisure budget? Tell me, when was the last time you've seen a terrorist with a travel pillow? Like, I plan on making it all the way through this flight. One time I was back there and they started questioning me. They were like, where do you live? I was like, Virginia, at the time. They're like, what's the closest restaurant to your house? I was like, Chipotle? He was like, you're free to go. It's like, which begs the question, have terrorists never heard of Chipotle? And if not, should we tell them? Because it was me and I came over, started to blend in, get the call from Al-Qaeda a few weeks later. Yo, Nak, you ready for the hijacking? I'd be like, yo, I'm converting. They'd be like, to Christianity? Be like, nah, to carnitas. I now belong to the Church of Latter-day Burritos. My favorite part about that story is the actual closest restaurant to my house was the Afghan kebab house. That's actually down the street in Clarendon. Y'all should check it out. They paid me to say that. See, I'm acting like I'm taking a drink, but I'm actually checking my notes. You got good weed here in DC. So I went to college here in DC. I went to Georgetown, right across the river. And I was on the rowing team. So I've studied white folks up close. And not just any kind of white folks, you know, the kind of white folks that can trace their money back to the Mayflower. Like, did y'all know J.P. Morgan was a person? They knew him. They're family friends. Oh man, actually Georgetown is where they shot the movie The Exorcist, right? And that's actually where I learned that paranormal activity is just some shit that white people came up with because life was too easy. Yo, y'all needed a struggle. Oh man. There are a lot of things I learned being around white people. For example, there's certain things that only white people say. For example, I was just born in the wrong times. Like my friend the other day was like, you know, the 60s were just so groovy. You don't hear that from black people. And the thing is, I know I would not survive in any other time. And not because of the things that I say about white people, but because I can't survive without contact lenses and Claritin. Oh man. No, actually, going to Georgetown, there were, it's a Catholic school, right? Catholic school people, make some noise. Anybody? Woo! Nice, 4 of us are scarred for life. But you'd always have a debate, right? Was Jesus white? Was Jesus black? It's like, all I know is Jesus was not Indian. Because the man had the power to heal the sick, and not one person was like, yo, maybe you should be a doctor. I have a lot of questions about Christianity after going to a Catholic school. For example, why did it take y'all so long to write that shit down? When I hear something important, I write that shit down right away. They took 300 years to write down the Bible after Jesus. For 300 years, it's just word of mouth. Y'all ever play the game Telephone? They did that for 300 years. Like, who knows? Maybe God loves gay people. You don't know. Oh. Actually, my mom went to a Catholic school in India. Yeah. So she hates these jokes. Oh no. So actually, growing up, whenever people would hear that I'm Indian, right, they'd be like, "Oh my God, do you have tiger parents?" You know, like Disney Channel racism. But the fact is, my parents were far more pragmatic with their approach. What they did instead was they just showered me with propaganda about kids who didn't do their homework. You know? Like, think Fox News, but replace immigrants with underachieving students. Like, we'd be watching the news, see a guy who can't get a job. My mom be like, he probably didn't have enough extracurricular activities. She'd be like, you know that girl that works at the gas station? She had straight A's until 10th grade. And then she got a boyfriend. And got distracted from pre-calculus. Yeah, according to my mom, if I got a D, we got deported. Growing up in an Indian household in Orange County, it was very confusing. I was actually very into Bollywood movies, so much so that the line between film and reality would kind of blur, you know? Like, I actually thought that at important moments in my life, all of you would just break out into song and dance. I also thought that 4 hours was an appropriate amount of time in which one could meet someone, fall in love, and proclaim it to the world. So I showed up to kindergarten as a high-risk individual. On day 1, I met the one and only Elisa Santos. And on day 2, I did what any self-respecting Bollywood actor in the 90s would do. I proposed. That's not even the crazy part. She said yes. So I came back to school the next day, a betrothed man. And I found Elisa crying. And I was like, oh no, My Filipina princess. Whatever could be the matter? She was like, well, my dad said I can't get married until I turn 21. And I thought about it. And then I turned into a young Antonio Banderas. And I was like, shh, shh, shh. Baby girl, don't cry. The father always disapproves in the movies. As you can tell, I needed therapy. Oh yeah, I needed therapy, and actually recently I told my therapist, I was like, I'm gonna do stand-up and acting and improv, right? But because of that, I'm gonna have to budget. So instead of coming in every week, I'm gonna start coming in every other week. She was like, are you sure? Like, you are barely keeping it together. I was like, hey, if anything, this is a chance for you to be a better therapist. Like, how about we reframe this as an opportunity? Actually, recently I told my therapist I started doing jokes about her on stage. And she was like, oh my God, so cool, can I hear some? I told her. She was like, wow, we have a lot to unpack. I was like, I'm so sorry, we're all out of time. That being said, I am out of time. Thank y'all so much.